Hello there everyone, and welcome back. As much as I kind of enjoy playing with the Lance build, sure, it's been difficult, I will be honest there, since everyone likes to try and kill things quickly and Lancers are kind of the antithesis of that, I really hope I pronounced that properly, good god. We're going to mix up a little bit with more macro builds, and the first question you're going to ask is, why the hell is there a despoiler in here? Why is there a battleship in general? For the constant seems to just go with a single ship as much as you can and then get most firepower out of it. In truth, the spoiler is supposed to be my tank. It's supposed to take all the fire ideally. Sure, it's a little bit tricky to do, but when you consider the fact that battleships are incredibly resilient against critical hits, it has been noted in the very first balance patch that was implemented? Well, not really balance patch, but like just a patch in general. Battleships basically have a fifth of the likeliness, I think it's ratio based, of taking a critical hit, as opposed to cruisers and light cruisers, which are basically like, at least cruisers I think is 0.8 of the critical hit value. It's hard to explain there, it's just ratio based is how I'm interpreting it. So when you consider these two factors, my carriages are very vulnerable to getting their engines destroyed or anything vital that I need for combat, whereas the battleship basically has the resilience of 5 carriages in one. As far as critical hits at least. Sure, it only gives me the firepower of technically a single carnage, with the additional range mind you, but I still got a lot of bombers, 5 fighter squadrons, and I do have a lot of lances if for whatever reason my opponent decides to run from my despoiler. There's at least value in that there. It's just going to be really tricky to utilize since it's like the Grand Cruisers technically go the same speed as this despoiler here, but the Desolator and everything else go faster in it. 200 unit speed a second, so that's going to make it a little bit tricky. I don't really want to use this spoiler, but a lot of the reason why I had this spoiler for my Lance fleet is kind of like the same reason. On top of the fact that it has torpedoes for when I do need to get aggressive, since Lance builds don't really incentivize getting close very well. And as I commented plenty already, the split fire, having a difficult time being able to focus a ship down if my opponent knows what they're doing, micro warp jump in combination of torpedoes and possible ramming at least helps me to guarantee a kill on something that is crippled. It leaves my Desolator in a precarious position, but at the same time it's kind of doing its role if it's the focus of everything. But otherwise, these are probably going to be the main skills I want. Disruption Bomb to cripple the shields, Micro Warp Jump for the spoiler, the Demonic Sight, which basically reduces the fall off on my accuracy past 9,000 units, so it would be 80, 60, 40, 20. Now it's going to be 80, 60, 50, 40, 30, I believe, with the lock-on extended range, as far as percentage of it being accurate on a target. So that's why it's there. And of course, armor-piercing ammo for when I do get an opportunity to get in close. Since in all seriousness, since Chaos don't have the prow armor, they don't have the torpedoes, and at least the abundance of torpedoes, they only got their speed, at least in comparison to the Imperial Navy, to use to their advantage. And that is really well utilized, or very easy to take advantage of at long range. It's good at avoiding ramming, mind you, especially with the slaughters, but I will have to play with the slaughters at some point. I just don't like the slaughters because of how short range dependent they are. They are very short range, and their damage potential is only slightly more than the Carnage. I believe I did my math properly there. I think it's only 1 damage per second, but I'm only going with the assumption that the lances on the slaughters are the exact same as all the other lances, since it doesn't want to give me the specific stats here. I'm fumbling my words a lot, but that's normal. Only other thing I'm going to note is I'm probably going to go with Death Guard faction or sub-faction, just in the case that I need the Void Locust Swarm, which will be useful for doing a lot of AoE damage, and especially against Necrons and maybe Space Marines. That's the only reason I can think of it, so I'm having that, or at least I'm choosing a sub-faction just to have access to it. But otherwise, I've talked on long enough as is. Hell, we probably should have just gone straight to the game. I'm only putting words in your mouth there, but nonetheless, that's my thought process. Good god. Let's just go to the match already. I'm fumbling all over the place. And let's hopefully have ourselves some good matches. Alright, Adeptus Mechanicus. I have the mobility to kind of justify avoiding their Nova cannons really damn well, but when you include their patch and the slowdown effect that the Adeptus Mechanicus now have, this may be an interesting game of long-range harassment. It depends on what upgrades they have in all honesty, if I want to get in close and aggressive in all seriousness. If they don't have armor-piercing rounds or anything that encourages a close range engagement, kind of like, was it, the cybernetic orb, then I should willingly dive in there to a limited extent. I do need to be smart, because after all, their ships are still equipped almost exactly like the Imperial Navy, minus the torpedoes, that's the reason alone why I'm considering getting super aggressive. Imperial Navy, I would not at least attempt that, at least right away. I really hate this layout because I want to grab that point there, but at the same time I would like to have my... Well, I don't think I need frigates so much for spying at Mechanicus, so I kind of can separate these two for now. And again, since I'm planning on getting aggressive, this warrants me utilizing the Nurgle Swarm Cloud. Also, let me get my fleets prepared properly. Normally, since the spoiler is kind of going to be lagging back a little bit, it's going to be a little bit awkward, but at the same time it helps spread out my fleet some, which can be useful. Let me see, disruption bomb's good, but I can kill shields quickly enough in close. I really do want this. Jump in there, use the void cloud. I just gotta remember that they can recharge their combustion gauge, which cannot be overstated. I could get caught off guard if I get complacent in that regard and get too aggressive, at least with my own gauge. And right now 5 ships, which doesn't say much yet. Normally it's like 5 Tyrants or 5 Gothics is what I sometimes see. I see at least one match that was all Gothics when you include the fact that Adeptus Mechanicus now have much more powerful lances. Never mind their additional accuracy with their macro cannons at range. But since I don't have my emission dissipator anymore, I don't get the convenience to just take control of the map, which is the main benefit I like with the emission dissipator. It gives me so much room to maneuver with the lances, especially when I'm focusing on kiting and harassing. Hell, I even use emission dissipator for this macro cannon build too sometimes, but only when it's justified against certain fleets that I'm worried about long-range harassments. It goes without saying that this fleet would be a lot more efficient against, and I saw fighters too, let's keep that in mind. I saw fighters, maybe I'm wrong. A dictator is always possible, without a doubt. But otherwise, let's see, they got 1 frigate at least, that much I know. The spoiler, I know you're already slow, but I don't want you lagging back that much now, if I can help it. And once I spot these, I can start harassing them. That's the main thing. So, if anything, I may not even want to grab this point with the frigate. Maybe. I kind of want to grab that left point too, but I think I might just naturally go over that way. With that said, start probing what we're up against. So we do have a dictator. So it was justified. Maybe I wasn't seeing things, although where the hell is the fighter squadron then in that case? If I thought I saw an actual fighter squadron.
We'll follow your command. For now.
Okay, 2 dictators, interesting. This almost justifies me even more to get aggressive and screw the little frigate over here, or screw the point. Since my despoiler, hell, I may just boost forward with the despoiler. Okay. Just boost on out. Be mindful that I am going to boost myself into some Nova cans. I could dodge these really well, and how much more combustion gauge? I got enough. Okay, took very little hull damage there. I almost took no hull damage, but I do need to spot them. Let's keep that in mind. So now that we got ourselves a bit of breathing room, why not... Oh, got a little bit too carried away there, but I gotta pay attention. I have my warp jump for the flagship, which, if I can get aggressive enough, that is going to encourage the Nova cans to go on them. Yes, fire everything. I kind of want to focus weapons, if I'm going to be honest. I want to focus on you, but a little tricky to do that, but this is a perfect area for a nano cloud. And I have the health on the flagship to kind of boost on out.
We'll follow your command. For now.
A little bit awkward, but this might be short and sweet there if I do this right. Again, let me prioritize components properly.
Reporting.
I do want to reload, but lock-on might be better to give me better long-term potential here. And they did boost away, but at the same time, gotta remember I'm repairing my ships to a limited extent. I did use up all my combustion gauge, which is a bit of a letdown.
Swift death squadron. Seeking prey.
So I want to board you to death and focus on this thing here.
Moving to those coordinates.
Alright.
Retros activated.
So long as I minimize the damage, that's the big thing.
As the War Master wills. Your orders.
That's the big thing. Because these two ships are about to die, they did not even fire the Nova cans, so I'm getting a lot of value with focusing these ships down. Especially with the mutiny. I didn't get my board I would like, though. There, that's... Now, kill the flagship, especially when everything's actually looking at it. That's the best case situation. It may have been a little preemptive, actually trying to grab or use my Nano Cloud. Or Death Swarm, what is it called there? Swarm Cloud. Since I didn't get as much value as I could have, but you're dead. The morale damage is substantial, so they did see that. Or maybe it was the ship I just rammed to death that caused that morale damage. Nonetheless, that was brutal and to the point. And it's definitely much more faster than Lances, isn't it? Which is a lot of reason why people go with the macro cannons more so. But I personally like the Lances. A lot of the reason is because it was the popular build. It was the build for Armada 1. So it is kind of what I'm used to. So maybe I'm a bit biased in that regard, even though it may technically be the inferior build. So I will give you that if nothing else. But this is looking like a stomp. I did not pay any attention to this frig at all. A Cobra could have actually killed me because of his torpedoes.
War Master wills.
But with its lower health, we are fine.
Your orders.
Nano Cloud's up. Let me actually repair everything. This is my first time using this type of AoE effect, so it's important to know what its actual cooldown is if I were to be serious for when I have to face off against it. Because for a brief period I was worried it had like a 90-second cooldown, but is that because of reload? No, reload doesn't actually affect it. It did affect my micro warp jump though, which is good to note. Alright, so if nothing else, even if I don't want to stick with the Swarm Cloud, I at least have some idea how it works. Again, this is my first time using it. And probably not to the best effect, since like I said, my opponent just scurried away, which was probably the right choice, but I think it was more to keep distance for more Nova cans in all honesty. And I did a bad job keeping track of how many Nova cans were being shot at, how many Nova cans they shot at me, but I'm pretty certain there was still one salvo left, since I think he shot, Nailer and Force. I'm going to try and actually pay attention to their actual names. I'm pretty certain the second salvo when I micro warp jump was all their cruisers, and at least almost all of them tried to shoot the spoiler, or at least a cruiser that was far enough away. And then the two that I killed from ramming in close range were the only ones that had their single shot left. So that worked out nicely. Ooh, orcs. We're gonna have a nice slugfest here. Although, with that said, I'm still going to want to harass them at range, especially if they have mega cannons and heavy cannons. Those cannot be underestimated, especially with the lock-on and, good god, 70% chance to critically hit and destroy components. Since Chaos and the Imperium factions are like the only factions in the game, I believe, that really are hindered by losing weapons at least, since I'm technically losing 8 weapons as opposed to a single one if you look at the spoiler here. So it's a lot more dangerous, or at least critical hits on weapons specifically are so much more dangerous just for that alone. Hell, do I want to... I kind of want my frigates both together to kind of like deal with savages and onslaughts in all seriousness. I'm not going to worry about the left side of the map, at least for now. Hell, if my orky friend decides to deploy over here, then I could just sit and camp for a little bit, set a little fireplace, infest the place with some Nurgle clouds. It's all good for chaos, if Orc decides to grab these 2 points on the left. So I'm for it. I'm all for it, just remains to be seen if that's what my opponent's gonna do. Since I'm going to have the momentum advantage just because of the speed, it's a question, do I want to boost forward with the frigates? I do give away I'm sending 2 frigates over here, which can be pretty important. It's a lot of the reason why I have the emission dissipator for my Lance fleet. 6 frigates, they never really expect that, and the torpedoes can be really damn impactful against anything that's isolated. Hell, I can destroy light cruisers with enough attention and commitment with those 6 frigates alone. Maybe even 3, depending if they're like a Sauce or anything with, was 800 health. It wouldn't be easy. It wouldn't be easy, mind you, since I don't have enough torpedoes with just 3 frigates. Maybe 6 I could kill light cruiser. But that's a lot of the appeal there. They don't suspect it coming, and as you've seen with my Lance fleet, I can easily, relatively easily anyway, win in the frigate matches, which complements the Lances really well since I'm kind of running away all the time. Now, my Orky friend was the smart one here, in that deployed over on the right, and who knows what's on the left here. Hell, I really should launch fighters. And, well, we know what the flagship is. It's the Novacan at that. I'm really hesitant to actually launch fighters, but I think the fact we're seeing so many ships kind of gives away we're not dealing with all battleship carriers. Kind of like before in my match with the Dominator Imperial Navy, where they only have enough points for like 3 battleships with their 5 fighter squadrons. That's kind of what I really am hanging on to those fighters for, in case we have to deal with a lot of fighters. But I'm going with a hunch that's not really the case. At least not entirely. It still remains to be seen if we're dealing with Megacans, though. We'll know momentarily. I'm still wondering at the moment if I should boost forward. I could grab this point, maybe both of them. Well, my opponent will likely boost as soon as they see me make a very aggressive play for the objectives, maybe. And if they have any frigates then, and they have saps, then my frigates are in a lot of danger of getting sniped down. Otherwise, we got this point. Hell, I gotta get ready to start turning and prepare for my engagement. I have excessive range, so I need to take full advantage of it. Now, what do we have to deal with? So, mega cannons. Actually, let me just focus on the engines. They're all mega cannon battleships.
The enemy has seized a
So we're going to be playing a very long game here. You're going to be priority 2. I missed this one here, but I think it's safe to say we know what that is.
Moving to those coordinates.
And I think these are probably just frigates, so my two, what, I forget what these damn infidels, my raiders, are probably going to be focused on dealing with them. Although with the gas cloud, this isn't as convenient as I like. So let's pay attention to range. They have really bad point defense, so I could launch fighters at them. Start softening them up and getting ready for bombers, but at the same time it could launch my bombers in there really well too. Can I scan pulse that? I can. I only need to see one of them. And we'll grab this point here and then make our way left.
We are unstoppable.
And I wasn't revealed, which probably means they just scanner pulsed over on the left, if I were to be honest.
We stand ready.
Alright, gotta keep an eye on the timer. So another 10 seconds till the scanner pulse falls off. I want to try and maximize my damage here. And put him in a very awkward position at the same time. Ideally. And if I could destroy engines, well, that definitely seals the deal for the value of this fleet. They can't chase me and I can just steal these points over on the left. Okay, there are frigates here. I kind of forgot those were there. Now you gotta deal with these things. That's the catch there, buddy. But I think I'll go over on the left. I'm gonna have nothing to effectively spot them in the gas cloud, aside from my fighters. And savages there, you're just making yourself easy to kill with you're turning around. Actually, I should probably just try and kill the ships on the left. Maybe get a couple of lucky critical hits. I don't know what I want to prioritize. My opponent's playing incredibly passive right now. And I don't quite have the range to support my frigates over there. but I'm okay with trying to deal with them. If they're only frigates, then I think I can win that match with 3 raiders. I want to believe anyway, so long as I'm good about hitting their sides.
We stand ready. Enemy ship sighted.
Yep,
Let the galaxy
onslaughts, so
burn.
if I can hit with torpedoes and a brute.
Setting course.
Right? If I learned anything from my Twitch stream their
Your
spurs on the prow doesn't actually impact or help them if
Reporting.
I ram them on the side. So that's what I'm going to
Engines
try and abuse to an extent.
up. We stand ready.
I think I just want to cap these points. But gotta pay attention. Most important. Soften this thing down.
Your orders.
I don't care. I kind of want to bomb it. I don't know what happened to my assault fighters, but apparently they did nothing.
Reporting. As the War Master wills.
Now let's try and ram this thing really quickly.
Adjusting rotation.
Good ram
Show us
there.
our victims.
It's going to be a bit awkward, but hell, let me just ram the
Glorious
brute.
powers.
It doesn't have the health, especially if I hit its rear.
For the War Master.
And actually, I know exactly what to do with how to help these out. Just send the bombers over there.
To the slaughter.
I may not be in range, but I can help out to a limited extent. I'm just going to be playing a really long game of cat and mouse since I have less fighter powers. But at least the bombers are going to survive
We'll follow your
and be able to
command.
return to do some more damage later. I'm just using up all my combustion gauge, which is a bit of a
For the
problem.
ruinous powers. For the dark gods.
Alright, I was worried maybe
Your orders.
I forgot to turn off turn on my
The
focus
War
fire.
Master wills.
Kill the brute, kill the brute.
Moving to those coordinates.
There, that sounds promising. Did I focus?
Tear them
No, I didn't.
apart.
I turned it off, in fact.
We'll follow your command.
Ooh, an even better bonus, we're gonna ram these frigates, which I will happily take.
Reporting.
So I don't know what happened to the other frigates, but thankfully, or the one, since it was 3-on-2 after all, and these bombers are gonna seal the deal for me. Boost in there and just seal the
For
deal.
War Master.
I don't even need to ram this thing, I just want to shoot it, in all seriousness.
Doomfires unleashed.
The bombers did amazingly well, that thing's
For
just
the
gonna burn to
ruinous
death.
powers.
Assuming
The
they don't
enemy
do
has
an emergency
seized a
repair.
strategic area.
So I could just ignore that, let the morale do the damage necessary.
Show us our victims.
The enemy has
And you are gonna die in a moment.
25% of strategic
Yep, this is
points.
going good. Like I said, very slow match. I'm gonna fall behind a tiny bit in points just because of that. At least until I start killing stuff.
Engines
Which is
hot.
kind of why I want to ram and kill this thing off.
Enemy ship sighted.
Every little point matters to make sure I at least even out the score. And I kind of want to switch target.
We are
Oh, you're only 100
unstoppable.
points of damage for Nova Cannon, or per Nova Cannon, so I'm content letting these hit.
Moving to those coordinates.
I hate to mock the Nova Cannon because being able to do triple shots like that is really cool, but there's no real threat when there's only a single Nova Cannon, at least against my shields.
Your
And when
orders.
you don't have lances, that makes it all the more worse.
Break them.
Or at least a lot easier to deal with.
Doomfires unleashed.
And I'm keeping lock on available to maximize my chance of hitting the dang engines, because as soon as they start boosting forward, I'm in a little bit of trouble.
Master. As the War Master wills.
Speaking of the devil, that's what's going
For
on.
the War Master.
You have
Yeah, and you got a critical hit on my
accumulated
engines at a bit
25%
inconvenient time, too. Oh, you're actually running away. Really? I repaired the engines and immediately
Show us our
died.
victims.
Well, to be fair, I'm taking a lot of shots there, but that is sucky.
Hold your fire.
I almost want to hold fire with you just so you don't give away your position, but that sounds stupid. Let's be honest. Let me actually manage this properly. It's my battleship that needs to get out pretty soon. Otherwise, my one Carnage should be able to get out once its repairs are available. It's going to be a while, though, with that said. Since again, I'm not vulnerable, I don't care about these so much, but I didn't check upgrades, come to think of it. Which they do have the lances that ignore they do have the lances that ignore shields. That I cannot overlook, which is probably why I'm taking the damage I did.
Enemy ship sighted.
And that may not have been the most exciting type of micro warp jump.
Hold your fire.
I'm about to get spotted in a moment, so
Follow your
but in
command.
10 seconds you'll be able to get out, hopefully. Emphasis on that.
Squadron, seeking prayer.
But we are getting the critical hits on engines. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Evasive maneuvers, get the hell out.
At once.
Nope, it was just a second too slow, at least for the ram itself.
Engines hot.
But it's promise.
We stand ready.
Let's get going and grab these other points now.
Master Wells.
Engines are permanently gone, so this thing might be dead.
For now.
So I think I'm just gonna preserve what I got. It's part of the reason why I like the battleship soaking the damage. It's more resilient to those random critical hits that can screw you over. Minimizes the luck factor, as it were.
Ruinous powers.
It does hinder my firepower some, unless I make good use of my bombers.
For the War
Okay,
Master.
that's been cancelled, but I got another alternative available, potentially. And that's your last Nova Can. It will actually do some real damage, though. Since my opponents may have been smart enough to wait for the shields to be down,
Fires unleashed.
that would probably be how you get the best value out of it, at least. And I do have engines prioritized on all but
Your
you,
orders.
so let's fix that.
Send engines to full ahead.
I am taking hits though, but again, it's on the
The
battleship.
enemy
I'm
has
kind of
seized a
okay for now.
strategic area.
And the frigates are all
We
gone,
stand
so
ready.
if I can find some concealment at a good
Enemy
distance, I can
sighted.
mitigate a lot of
The
damage
enemy has
too.
accumulated
And you lost a
50%
Mega Can.
strategic points.
Where's the crippled one as well? Oh, I just got rammed to death. Let me just
The
focus and start
galaxy
killing these ships.
burn.
I'm not gonna have to. Maybe not. The gas cloud's gonna be a bit of a pain. So I'm gonna have to change targets on the flagship.
For the ruinous
I have a bit of a
powers.
500 point deficit, so grabbing these points is important, and we got ourselves another frigate to murder, which conveniently we're going straight towards. So let's correct this point problem I'm having.
Show us
Oh, and I have
our
no more
victories.
bombers. Oh, actually, that's not true. I have one that's returning, but I have to wait till it actually
Dead claws
boards
away.
before I make use of it. So let's get value out of my boarding crew. Might as well. I'm sure they're going to make it. It's just a question: are they going to get any critical hits to be of value?
Show us our
Again, not really much commentary. I'm just kiting all day. Can you blame me for crying out loud? We're dealing with all Mega Can battleships, double Mega Cans at that. So I have to take that super seriously.
Stand ready.
Ooh, we got boarding, at least 5. I don't know how many of these assault ships actually made, with that said. Since it only says 1 to 2 troop damage, which I don't know if that's applied or updated from the patch, mind you. The update patch.
Setting course.
But we're in a good position to snipe this frigate, grab this point maybe, and continue hammering this flagship. And your engine's permanently gone, is it? No, you still have engines.
Send engines
It's
to
all,
full
there's
ahead.
only one I think that has permanently crippled
As the
engines,
War
and
Master wills.
actually, let's see if I can maybe kill that. I'm getting wedged myself in a corner here. This is very dangerous.
Adjusting rotation.
Oh, and I can't call arms, surprisingly. Oh, never mind. I'm completely wrong. I'm thinking the encouraging speech. For a brief moment, I was thinking that Imperial Navy, which have a completely different type of rally. If for some reason I compared that to called arms, as silly as that may
Show us
sound.
our victims.
We got some really good critical hits on the frigate, though.
You have accumulated
It just burnt to death.
50%
I like it.
strategic points.
I'm really liking it. The battleship is dying. We're gonna at least start getting some ground, but hell, you can see how likely I am to just lose here because of the score
For the
amount.
War Master.
If I don't get some kills anytime soon and steal a 4th point, then I'm probably gonna lose this, especially if I lose any more ships. So I gotta take this seriously. I do have armor-piercing ammo, so
We'll
how
follow
close
your
can I
command.
get?
For now.
Since after all, this thing is super... What is it? It's incredibly isolated,
Show us our
so I
victims.
want to maybe take advantage of that.
We are unstoppable.
Well, thanks for accommodating me.
The enemy has accumulated 75%.
That
of
encouraged a nice
strategic
boost. You have
points.
no Mega
You have
Cans, so
seized a
I maybe
strategic
should have done this
area.
earlier. I just was not paying attention due to a lot of factors, mind you. But now this should easily at least help kill this a lot faster. just because of the broadside potential. Nope, I take that back. This is easily going to turn... This easily now is going to bite me in the butt. I was trying to accelerate the match since there was probably some people thinking I was being too slow, and now I'm feeling like that was a justified choice playing so passive. But otherwise, we are getting close to killing off these ships. I just got actually, especially with my hull able to do full damage. Can I at least kill the flagship? It is at a point where it is going to burn to death, though. There is that. And I have to wait 30 seconds. If this Carnage dies, then I basically lose here. The flagship's dead. We got mutinies. You might survive long enough for a retreat. And engines are gone again there. Can we at least grab this point somehow? Yep, I may have just lost because of that cruiser dying. Since now this is vulnerable to getting rammed as well. Should have played it slow and concise. That was probably a mistake nonetheless. Because that maneuver alone to get in close as I did just cost me tremendously. Just because of the critical hits alone. Now this thing's gonna die unless I could kill the Mega Cans off. Forget the lock-on potential on the weapons. We're just gonna die to Mega Cans here. And this, okay, Mega Can's gone, so I have a little bit of hope. But with all these sheer health, there's no way I can kill them.
75% of strategic points.
And I can't repair the generators either. So just gotta neutralize this one point, maybe kill this one cruiser here. Since now we're looking at about 200 points to my defeat. Yeah, this is dead. And especially now that I can't repair and warp you out.
You have seized a strategic area.
Can we ram this thing to death? Only thing I could think of here that might be useful. Because you're gonna give yeah, it's like 150 points, so I don't think I'm gonna neutralize this point fast enough. I lose just because of that one damn maneuver. This is why getting aggressive is very dangerous. I should have played the slow and patient route, because my frigates were in a perfect position to just cap the point. Oh well. It's a good demonstration, if nothing else, of why... what am I trying to say? I said it enough times as is. I feel like I'm trying to emphasize my point, and I don't think it even needs to be emphasized. It's been demonstrated. That has some real potential though, but we were just dealing with the tankiest fleet in the game, basically. And it goes to show, good god, since I can never engage, there was a real chance I would have lost just to my orc friend having those 3 points. It was definitely looking like that.